So I almost filmed this entire video and realized my camera wasn't recording. So, take two. Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Lindsay. I'm so glad to have you here. In today's video I'm going to talk about my grad school experience. So for those of you who are new or do not know, I am currently at my undergrad alma mater. I came back and I am getting my Master's of Arts in Teaching with a concentration in secondary education, mainly history and political science / government. So in this video I thought that I would kind of reflect on my first semester, some of the stuff that I did, just to maybe give you an idea of what grad school is kind of like. But it's a totally different experience for everyone. So these are just my personal opinions. They may not necessarily happen for you. I'm sorry. Maybe you did it better. I don't know, but just to get that out there. But yeah, I'm going to share my experience now. So starting out with how my classes for the first semester were, like what they looked like, their structure. I had four? How many? I had 4 classes. I don't know why I think I kept having 5, but I had 4 classes. One of them, like, we had an on-ground meeting every other Saturday, which I've vlogged some, and I'll have either the playlist or one of those videos in the card now so you can see it. And then one of my classes we just met once, and then we had some optional meetings, and then the other 2 were strictly online. So my thoughts on having mostly online classes: I love to be in the classroom and learn. I really don't like taking online classes because for me, a lot of the teachers, and that's what the 2 that we didn't meet, they kind of did this. It seemed like the classes were set up: read the text, regurgitate the information into a assignment, turn it in. And that's all we did. I don't really get anything from that, because for me, if I want to do that, I can open a book and read it, and I would get the same amount of information and knowledge from that as doing this. This is basically paying someone to teach me, but really have them tell me to read a textbook and regurgitate the information. Which, I don't know. That sounds kind of like, but, you know, I'm paying to go to class and learn and have an instructor in front of me and teaching me things, not just to buy a really expensive textbook and have to read it and then not be able to sell it because it's in a binder and not have anyone guide me really along the way. So that's what I don't really like about online classes. I got much more out of the 2 that we actually had meetings with, and then the one that we just kind of had one mandatory meeting and then the others were optional. She structured the assignments to where we read the text, but we had to think about different scenarios that they would work in. It felt different. It was actually like a class, but online, as opposed to just reading the textbook and putting the information out, and there you go. So yeah, that's what my feelings about the actual class structure. Also, the other 2 teachers, the ones that had the meetings, they were, well, I should say 3, because one of my classes, 2 teachers taught it. They were total rock stars. They're awesome. And one of my professors actually picked me. She sent out an email saying, hey, we're looking for a student representative for a candidate selection committee that I'm on. I emailed. I was chosen. So I kind of talk about that in some of my vlogs too. I'm doing that this summer. It has been a really amazing opportunity to have this, because I've seen a little bit more of academia and what it takes to be hired as a professor and what the committees look for, and it's just, I'm so thankful for that opportunity. I hate to say this, but I'm really blessed that I got that. So that was really cool. But I loved those teachers. The other two, not so much. Like, I talked about this in one of my vlogs, but literally one of my teachers, I didn't even know that she was my teacher because she didn't make an effort to be like, hey, this is me. She was just kind of randomly popping up in the discussions. I'm like, is this like the GA for the class? Who is this? And I was like, oh, that's my teacher. I don't know, but yeah. So those are my thoughts on that. As far as the overall ease, I've actually found this semester to be pretty easy. It definitely, a lot of times it had a lot of workload because one of my classes, literally, like one of the ones that I just read the textbook, I would have like every week 2 to 3 page paper due because I didn't want to do the one with filming a video. Ironically enough, like, I write papers better, so I did that. I hated doing it because it was like the same thing every week. Which would have been fine if we had the on-site meeting to give some, some breakaway from the monotony of it, but, and apparently I wasn't the only one that didn't really dislike that. Let me rephrase that. I'm not the only one who disliked the teacher. There's a bunch of people in my program, like my cohorts, that didn't like this teacher, so I'm not alone in that. But, other than that, like, the workload was a lot at times, yes, but I like that. I like to stay busy, but it wasn't hard. Like, I think one of the lowest grades I got, I don't really count because, well, I mean, I do, but it wasn't anything that, like, I didn't understand. I just accidentally uploaded the wrong thing. But, I mean, I got hundreds on everything, and I would like to assume that means that I understood the material, not really that the teacher looked and was like, okay, they got a lot of information in here, 100. Which I kind of suspect is what happened with some of the classes, but I hope not. Because I worked hard on all my assignments. But anyway, with that being said, I ended up with a 4.0 this semester, and I'm not saying that in a totally braggy, look at me, I'm so smart. I'm just saying, my first semester of grad school, I got a 4.0. I'm the first one in my family to actually be in grad school. I'm the first one of my family to graduate from a 4-year institution, and with honors at that, so it's just, I'm really proud of myself for that, and again, I'm not bragging, like, look at me, I'm so intelligent. That's not it at all. I'm just saying I'm proud of myself for how hard I worked this semester. And part of the semester, for the first part, I also had my job working, like, I think I cut back to 35 hours at the fast food restaurant that I was at. And then, like, I stayed there for a couple of months just to get some more money and more bills paid off. And then I was able to quit because I wanted to focus just on my schoolwork since this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life. So I had that on top of me. So, and I was making the hundreds and doing all the homework and stuff while I was doing that. So I'm really proud of myself that I was able to actually do that and to prove to myself that I can. So that's as far as the schooling that I'm going to talk about. And then I'll get into some other aspects of the semester next. Okay, so one aspect of 2 of my classes was to do service learning. And if you don't know what that is, it's kind of like community service, but it's more involved in that you have to actually be with a group of people, or you actually have to, like, work hard and volunteer and be in the community, not just like do paperwork or do like little small-ish stuff, That's not to knock community services, just that's how they explained it to us, so. But to be honest, there's some lost love with our service learning group. that's a whole different story for another video that I will do, I promise. But yeah, so one of my classes, the one that met Saturday, every other Saturday, we had to do 20 hours, and then my other class, which I didn't really like the teacher that much, we had to do 10 hours. And so I'll talk about this one first. The one that I did 10 hours with, I was with a group kind of associated through the school that catered to children and also adults with disabilities. I hope I said that right. I wrote a paper, like a service learning reflection paper, and I don't know if I said persons with disabilities or I said the disabled, but I got points taken off because I said the wrong thing and I didn't mean it bad, and I don't mean it, I just don't know the correct way to say stuff. So I think it's people with disabilities or persons with disabilities, so that's what I'm going to say, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, I don't mean it. But yeah, so those could be like physical disabilities, mental disabilities, etc., and so forth. But what the group did, it was like a theater arts program for them. What is wrong with my voice? But it was really enriching to see them getting out of their comfort zone and doing their own thing and having fun with all of the acts. That was so cool to watch. Basically, my role in it, we would be partnered up with someone and help them through the act, whether it was like helping them with their lines, but we'd have to do it in a certain way. Like, we couldn't just whisper it to them, we'd have to act it out so they could mirror us. And that was kind of, we were like a peer tutor in a way, kind of like mirroring our actions so they could see, that stuff. So that was really cool. I do wish that I could have spent more time there. I didn't really make a whole lot of connections just because I was only there for 10 hours overall. So, and it was like every other week I would go because it was on Saturday, which is when my class was. So I'll talk about that in the service learning video that I'm going to do. But yeah, that was, so I do wish I had more time to go on to that, but the other program, or the other service learning that I did, the best way to describe it and how they actually describe themselves is an adult daycare. So they're brought in either by the bus or their family will bring them. They spend the day there and then they go home at the end of the day. And while they're there, they have breakfast. They do little exercises in their chair. They'll do crafts on certain days. They'll have people that come in and sing for them or tell stories. On Wednesdays, they have devotionals. They have lunch there. They take them on field trips sometimes. But it's mostly a place for them to interact with each other. And I had to do 20 hours there, like I said. Was it on Wednesdays? I went on Wednesdays, and I absolutely loved it. To be honest, I was a little nervous at first because the place, like the building, is in a rough part of town. But I kind of knew that it would be okay because right outside of the room where they are, there's like this big mural that kind of represents my area. And there's a painting of the fast food building that I worked at, and I cannot get away from that place. Like, I think I have some pictures posted on my Instagram, but there's like that. And then, I don't know why, but for some reason in my school building, they had people build like little replicas of fast food restaurants around here, and mine that I used to work at was everywhere. And I was like, I cannot get away from this place. But anyway, that's beside the point. I loved it. I loved talking to the clients that worked there. That's the way that I kind of described it in my service learning paper. So, like the people that actually went, I loved spending time with them and talking to them and getting their stories. I can maybe talk a little bit in my service learning video that I'm going to do, like tell some of the stories, but I don't want to tell too much because of privacy. Like, I signed a NDA, like a non-disclosure agreement, so I can't really give like too much information, but I can do like a little, like some little quips or something. But I loved all of them. I got to know them and talk with them, and it was great. I loved it. I grew as a person doing that. They had someone talking with them, and I loved it so much. And I asked if I can just come back and visit on random days, and my boss was like, "You are more than welcome to. I'm sure that they will love it." So every now and then, when I get the chance, I'll probably go and like pop in and see them. But I just loved it so much. I'm not crying. It's just my voice. I don't know what's happening. But, yeah. Overall, I think that's all I wanted to talk about. Oh, one other thing. I had a job through the school as well. That's what else I need to talk about. So, my school, there's like 2 tiers of like student job kind of things that you can do. There's GA, which is graduate assistant for this purposes, which that pays your tuition and then you get a stipend every month. And then there's TS, which is tuition scholar, which you just get your tuition paid for, which either one is super awesome. I ended up getting TS this semester just because this was my first semester, like my first ever thing in a grad school. So I think that's why you just have TS at first. But hopefully, in the fall, I'll get a GA position. Like, I've kind of talked with my department already with that. But basically what I did for that, I was paired with a teacher, which that was interesting because, like, I had to sign a contract through our curriculum instruction office. That's the department I work for. I can say that, but then we had to be paired with the teacher, but then the teacher I ended up being paired with, she liked to conduct interviews with people, so I had to like reapply for a job that I already had in a way, but she ended up really liking me. It's a long story, but anyway, I got paired with my teacher, which is actually really good because she's going to be my residency instructor, so that's awesome. That was paired with her, and so I was basically like her secretary in a way. Like, I would fix her PowerPoints up, so I really hope she uses them in class because they are on point. But I would do that. I actually filled out her travel, like, vouchers and stuff. She had to go to a conference, so I filled all of that out, which that was super helpful again because that kind of gives me a leg up when I'm a professor. I kind of know how to do it. So that was cool. I made flyers for her for the residency program, which are still hanging up in the building. I'm really proud of those flyers. I did that. Our school, like, for the requirement for getting our license, we have to take the EdTPA. So when her students were doing that, one of the days I sat in the room with them in case they had any questions or needed help uploading anything, or like getting anything together before uploading, so I did that. Just basically anything she needed I was there for. I'd even go and get her food sometimes. So, but with that being said, while I worked for her, I was also associated with the curriculum and instruction office, so on days that she wasn't there or didn't have anything for me to do, I would help them out. So that would be like sitting at the front office and answering phones and doing anything they needed to do. Which that was cool because that kind of gave me a leg up. Like, they know what a hard worker I am. It actually led to me getting a job for the summer now, basically doing the same thing. Because I need to pay for summer school, and that's expensive. And my, like, tuition scholar or GA thing doesn't cover the summer, so, yeah. But that, I love the office that I work for. I'm hoping that I get a GA position for them so I can stay. I mean, I'll get some, I should get at least a TS position, but I really hope for a GA position this time. but I do want to stay in the office because I do really like the people that I work with there. They're super cool. But yeah, I just really liked my first semester of grad school. I could not imagine it going as smoothly as it did, and I'm really proud of myself for how hard I worked and just what I've accomplished already, and how much more confident in myself I am, and all the opportunities that I have, and all the people that I've met and talked with, and some of the connections that I've made. And one thing that I've learned is a group can actually work together and everyone do work. Can you believe it? That is one thing I've always hated about group work, is because I've ended up doing all of the work. Literally, my high school career, when we had group work, like, I would be not unanimously, but like kind of chosen as the leader because nobody else would do the work. So I would do the work for the group and they would try to take credit for it, but I was sneaky and told the teacher ahead of time, so they lost credit and I got more credit because of it. Or they just didn't do the work and the teacher realized it. Yeah, I've always had to do the work. And again, that's not me bragging. It's just literally, if you care about school and you care about your grades and you love school, in group work you're going to do all the work. I'm just telling you that up front. Even in undergrad, sometimes that's how it works. But thankfully, a lot of my programs, we didn't have group work. So I'm glad of that. But we had like 2 group assignments, one in each different class. That makes it sound like I had 4. I had 1 group assignment in one class and 1 group project in another. There we go. And both of my groups, I worked with different people, but we all did the work. We all shared the same responsibilities and did the work, and we worked amazing, and we were great teams. Can you believe that actually happens? I can't believe that it took me going to grad school to actually be with people that love school. And I guess that's a good thing about going to grad school, is kind of more days now, if you want a really good job, you need a bachelor's degree. Literally, my uncle used to be the vice president of a company in my area, and he said that their company, they don't care what you get your bachelor's in, it just looks good for them if you have a bachelor's degree. So, but master's and a doctorate is not really as needed in certain fields, but that just shows who the real lovers of education are. And it's just, I love being with people that are like me and love to learn and love school, and it's just amazing and a warm, fuzzy feeling that I get. And yeah, so that was my reflection of my first semester of grad school for my teaching program. I'm saying that because I would like to get more master's degrees and hopefully get my doctorate, which I've kind of talked about in another video, but that's it for this. Hopefully I can have, I plan on doing reflection videos for my other semesters that I do. I'm going to have more vlogs coming up. In July, I'll actually start my residency. I can't actually vlog in the school while I'm doing class, of course, but I'll talk about my experience then, kind of talk about like how my first week goes, etc., so forth. Yeah, so I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please stick around if you're new. I do videos on my schooling, some fashion videos, but mostly I just post my fashion on Instagram, so definitely follow me on Instagram. But I make a lot of videos on my tattoos because I've become obsessed. What else do I do? I don't know. I kind of do a lot of random stuff on here, so I'm just kind of here on YouTube. I don't know what I do, but yeah. Anyway, please stick around. I hope that you enjoyed this video, got something out of it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.